Minimum height.
6 feet.
Yeah, that's where they get you. Would you exclude obesity?
Absolutely.
Minimum income. So
I'm gonna say at least 200.
200 grand?
You could be 30 years
Oh
old and
my
make
goodness.
200.
Take a guess at what percentage of men fit this
2%.
criteria? 2%? Much lower. It's 0.049%.
All right, is this going on the TV?
What do you think the average guy makes in the United States? Household income for one person, single male.
Probably like 80K, 400,000.
Realistically, with everything that just went on in the world, I don't know, maybe like 70,000.
I was thinking like 60.
Yeah, it's $37,000 a year. For a household, it's $69,000. If we were to go to Walmart and you were to see like the Filipino cashier who's 5'2", you don't even notice him. When it comes to dating, you don't even see him. And that's the thing. That's one of the things we're trying to bring up is that like the world is not what you think it is. When women complain that men cheat, the number of men that cheat is extremely low. Most men don't have any chance whatsoever to cheat.
A new study finds that despite women making less money than men, more single women in the U.S. own homes than single men, thanks to a phenomenon economists call divorce.
Every woman's a thought now, right? Was it PJW? He called it Hoeflation.
Is that a serious issue?
It's a very serious issue, and I'm glad you asked.
There's an inflation of hoes.
Yeah, but what he was saying was that he was like, your grandfather met your grandmother. Like, he basically had to do so much less work to find the highest quality woman. Now, men have to do the absolute most, and they're still bringing in hoes.
And the price just keeps getting higher and higher. As the cost of living continues to rise, every reasonable guy has started to discuss how much of this can be attributed to the feminist mindset. And it comes as no surprise to many of us that women in the West have become the primary reason for male poverty across the board. From marriage to outrageous alimony payments to unwarranted harassment suits, these unhinged broads have made theft into an Olympic event, praising one another for how much they can take from society without giving anything back in return. And it's always the male half that ends up carrying the burden. Men, it's time to take another hard look at the facts. The media continues to reinforce the idea that women deserve reparations for opening their legs while completely ignoring the consequences of their own deliberate actions. When the feminist engine fails, the blame is never directed in the proper direction. The worst part is that most women know this and there's no shame in sight. Before we go any further with the video, let me share the comment of the day. Shout out to Baron von Fupster, who said, I'm not cooking, cleaning, doing the chopping, cleaning up after you. After all, I'm not your mother. Me, I'm not paying the bills, doing the yard, fixing your car, or providing you a place to stay. After all, I'm not your father. Well said, my friend. So please, don't forget to reach out to my email to claim your $5. As always, guys, I'm gonna pick one comment from each video. It may be the funniest, or the most liked, or just one that moved me, so don't forget to leave a comment and you could be tomorrow's winner. So make sure to hit that like and sub button as the support means a ton. So now let's get right back into the video.
Embrace your masculinity.
If you chase women, you'll eventually run out of money, but if you chase money, you'll never run out of women.
Honestly, yeah, because we want the money.
They want your money, and they have nothing to give you. They're just leeches, taking your time, taking your money, taking your energy, and they got nothing. They're not funny. They're not unique. They got nothing to give you but stinky, and they're gonna leech off you until you're broken. That's why, look at the guy. Look at the guy right here. This is the face of a guy who's had to deal with these nonsensical women.
I'm never gonna get married. I don't want to get married.
Why?
There's no benefit for the man. He only has everything to lose. A man can be completely faithful to his wife, provide, protect, take care of the kids, you know, obviously when he's not working, whatever. And the wife can step out and cheat. And what's the result of that? Man has to pay alimony, has to pay child support, loses his house, loses the cars, loses everything. Why? What's the point? And then, like, it's a coin flip. Flip a coin if your marriage is going to work. Those are the odds. Those are the chances. If you want to get married, cool. Throw a wedding, put the rings on each other, say your vows, you're married. You don't have to submit nothing with the courts. Yeah.
Die alone?
The only reason why somebody is not okay being alone is because they're not okay with themselves.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That's it. Like, if you're not okay being alone, you have issues with yourself that you need to take care of.
And that's the honest truth. Dating puts you on a one-way train towards extinction. On a daily basis, men find their livelihood stripped away by ignoring the MGTOW message. Focus on your goals and ignore the death march that makes the unenlightened so miserable. When you think about how little it took your grandfather to get hitched, it becomes obvious why men won't touch any of these thoughts with a 10-foot pole. These guys share stories about how a trip to the ice cream parlor and a promise was enough to facilitate trust for the next 50 years. Women at the time understood that. If you just left the man alone to do his job, the rest would be taken care of. In return, the bare minimum would be a clean house, good kids, a warm meal, and friendly support. Today, married men count themselves lucky if their partner stays loyal. Today's foreseeable cost is far too great for those who have felt the burn of this before. Every smart guy on the planet is starting to wake up to the ruse, and most of us aren't falling for it anymore. Legal unions, disguised as romantic promises, have become a masochistic contract for those who don't understand their own worth. We know very well that the act of marrying itself, before you even start a life together, can easily surpass a down payment on your first house. Take the engagement ring as an example. They cost an average of $6,000, and the chick you are tricked into chasing will only be wearing it for a few months. Then, it's instantly doubled by the actual piece of jewelry they'll be wearing until your inevitable divorce. Because, let's face it, we've already established that Western women don't stick around. They're too preoccupied with themselves to care what happens to you and the savings you have in the bank. It's not even a risk, it's straight up suicide. Hoeflation is a widespread pandemic in this part of the world. After their credit cards are maxed out and they can't afford to live, women quickly flock to the nearest man with a fat wallet. Not because they want to settle down, but because they've practiced the art of deception. They mask this bottomless desire with selective traditionalism, arguing that you have to provide for them just because they asked you to. They believe that some guy will be there to pick up the pieces as long as they put out. The flaw in this logic is that successful men can smell the fish market from a mile away, and nothing on the menu is fresh. We understand that this is a con, and we simply don't have time for it.
So you're not trying to take me shopping?
Was you trying to drop that neck?
Maybe if you're taking me shopping.
I need to see what's up right now, though. Well, I'm not about to take you shopping then. Why would I take you shopping? I don't know you. You don't know me. You just wasn't interested.
But how are you gonna get to know me?
What you mean? We go on a date, get some lunch. That's how you get to know somebody. Not at the mall. What's at the mall? Just clothes. I don't need clothes.
I do.
You said you get money, right? So take yourself shopping. Ain't got to do with me. That's your job. I ain't your daddy.
All right then. So no.
What you mean? All right then? Nah. That's what you looking for? So that's what you got in the car for, to see if I was one of them. To see if you was gonna try to finesse me.
Not finesse you, but see where things went with you.
All right, well, I'm trying to see where things gonna go with your mouth. All right, well, ain't nowhere going nowhere with my pocket then. So if that's all you looking for, you can get go.
All right.
Oh, so that's what you was looking for? Well, get the go, because you a gold.
All right.
This girl has literally tried to finesse me, bro. But you know we not going for that, bro.
Guys, without full control of your bank account, you will be dragged through the mud financially. You'll end up buying a ton of shit you never used twice because some club chick managed to convince you she was an honest woman. In reality, all they do is act as a sexual proxy for their respective lifestyle brands. Their words don't even belong to them. They march in lockstep repeating the same phrases used on countless others before you. You'll end up broke and alone while your supposedly loyal partner runs off to the next paying customer. In essence, the Western woman has essentially turned into an escort with extra steps. Knowledgeable males know this statement tracks. Women are naturally impressionable and have become complete slaves to predatory marketing ploys. As long as 3 other girls give the green light on TikTok, they'll go into debt to match their flawed ecosystem. That, or they'll manage to convince a man in their rotation that the latest purchase will help their relationship. Real men know better. We've been primed from a young age to understand that wealth is a game that requires focus and discipline. Many of us have put in serious work to get to where we are today, and that determination has made us comfortable, as long as we stay independent.
And now with pair bonding research out there, women that sleep with more than 5 men, they only have a 20% success rate at marriage. And let me tell you, coming from a broken family and coming from my own relationship challenges and divorce, and my children have been divorced, that is not happiness, right? Yeah. I would choose to have my family together at 100%. And I did that. I brought my family back together after divorce. And it didn't work out in the end. And I think a lot of it has to do with the programming around being a boss babe and, your husband and, the man and all this stuff. And I think part of that is a product of that.
This guy is one of the many that have made a fatal mistake. Instead of recognizing that modern women are completely lost at the start, he chooses to run back to the trap that the West continues to sell. He eventually caught on, but not without losing most of his money. The system is so corrupted that more industrious thoughts have skipped the middleman and gone straight for the government coffer, which is exactly what happened in the case of Megan Hall. To refresh your memory, Megan Hall was that Tennessee cop who became famous for cheating on her husband with 6 other officers on the force. In a 2023 article titled, "Is former Tennessee cop Megan Hall still with her husband?" by Lillian Wajala, it states, Megan Hall was sacked in January 2023 after an internal investigation revealed her alleged sexual misconduct with her 6 fellow officers at the Laverne Police Department. The illicit encounters reportedly took place at hotels, parties, and other officers' houses. She also allegedly exchanged dirty pictures with McGowan, Holliday, Magliocco, and Shields. Megan Hall's photos were reciprocated. Now, anyone with common sense would believe this case is cut and dry. Women all over the country are using marriage as an anchor for their sexual escapades. This one just happened to get caught and had to face an appropriate punishment for her actions. That said, if men have learned anything, it's that these women will do absolutely anything if it means they get to avoid responsibility. And that's exactly what Hall did. And she did it without even being a decent 3. Millions of people woke up a few days ago to discover that not only did Megan Hall manage to convince a judge that she was innocent of any wrongdoing, but she also ran off with a hefty profit. In a more recent article called "Ex-Tennessee Cop Megan Hall Fired Over Sex Trysts with 6 Other Officers Settles Fed Lawsuit," Jorge Fitzgibbon writes, "A former Tennessee cop who got axed for her trysts with 6 other officers on the job has settled her federal civil lawsuit against her former employer for a whopping $500,000, according to reports. Megan Hall, who claimed she was sexually groomed by a cadre of male colleagues on the force, sued the city of Laverne last year after word of her raunchy romps made national headlines. On Wednesday, the Laverne board voted 3-1 at a special meeting to settle the suit, WTVF News said. The Laverne Board of Mayor and Aldermen voted tonight to authorize the mayor to sign a settlement agreement between the city of Laverne and former police officer Megan Hall. City leaders wrote in a statement, according to the outlet. Just let that first part of the segment sink in. By manipulating the court system, this 304 managed to run off with a bag most people fail to earn by the time they retire. If this feminist garbage is allowed to continue, the US could end up broke within weeks. The article continues, the agreement was negotiated between the attorneys representing the city and Hall. The statement said, the city's insurance provider will pay the sum of $500,000 to Hall as a gross settlement, which includes court costs, attorney fees, and expenses. Hall, 28, made national headlines last year after her station house sexcapades went public, including affairs with her supervisor, Sergeant Lewis Powell, and others. According to an internal investigation, Hall hooked up with several colleagues, sent them nude pictures, went topless in a Girls Gone Wild themed hot tub party, and even performed oral sex on 2 cops while on duty. She also allegedly had a threesome with one of the cops and his wife, according to the city's report. This, to any person with 3 functioning brain cells, is a complete fraud. Megan Hall will now inevitably become a feminist hero, while hundreds of male taxpayers who weren't even involved will end up footing the bill for her alleged grooming. But here's the rub. If anyone groomed Hall, it was the feminist horde that promoted this behavior. Every month, women on OnlyFans are praised for their courage to flash horny teenagers. Hall had no issue with the way she threw herself around until she got fired. There's no getting around that. Even beyond the boundaries of marriage, women are constantly finding ways to game the system without applying the work required to rightfully earn their keep. And they'll bend the meaning of words as long as something valuable lands in their purse.
So when girls say yes, they mean yes. But when they say yes, they also mean no. When they say no, they sometimes mean no, but they sometimes also mean yes.
Yes.
Or it could be a maybe, but maybe
Okay.
is a yes.
Yes.
So maybe also means yes.
Yeah, and the guy should understand what she means when she says yes.
Yes.
What is she thinking when
Right.
she says
Yeah.
yes to this, as opposed to, okay, she's saying no, but she means yes.
Is it a no? Or is it a no?
Or is
You
it
know,
like,
like-
a no? that was like a maybe.
That was super
But
maybe.
that was like a maybe, but on the yes side.
Yeah.
This ridiculous exchange highlights exactly how Western women have been getting everything without doing anything. They've convinced themselves that a rough prom night is the female equivalent of storming the beaches of Normandy. They want an endless supply of money for being tag-teamed by Chad and Tyrone on a Saturday night, because they managed to eventually lay in bed with the hopeless sap naive enough to put an overpriced piece of jewelry on their finger. When that doesn't work, they quickly gaslight the highest authority possible to avoid the fate they rightfully deserve. We know from experience that there is really only one way to respond to this.
Excuse me, what do you do for a living? What? You know what is don't touch my car maybe? Yeah. This is not your car, get out of here.
Men, time is so precious that giving it to any of these women should be considered a mortal sin. If a 304 asks you to put a ring on her finger, have fun with it and ask her how much she'd be willing to spend. The response is guaranteed to be amusing, to say the least. If they ask you for a nice dinner on the first date, ask her for her age and body count. If you're not done with your daily tasks, don't respond to any of these requests at all because she's done absolutely nothing to earn a profit from your struggle. The only two things a man should be doing with his money, young or old, is finding a way to build on it or using it to celebrate with other guys who understand value. It's the only way to move forward with your dignity intact.
As always, I wish you tremendous success. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember that if you leave the best comment, you'll get $5. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads, drop a comment, and share it. See you in the next video. Till next time.